Hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Evil Plotcast. So this is gonna be part 2 of our discussion about our rankings for the most fun characters in Disney Villainous. And this time we'll be discussing the top 10 picks for the most fun characters in the game, according to a survey that we made. Today I'm joined by Alecrat.
Hello.
RGG2.
What's up?
UnhappyEnding.
Hello.
Babydaisylover.
Hi.
Wahnderful.
Hello.
Waco.
Hello, everyone.
Sox.
Heyo.
And of course me, MetaCross. Without further ado, let's finish this ranking.
Alright, so we're going top 10. We made it top 10.
Ooh.
Number 10. The doctor will see you now, Dr. Facilier.
Alright.
Yeah.
Do we have a
Anyone
pro
have any strong opinions?
doctor out here?
That's
I'm a
me.
new one.
Go
ahead.
I'll go ahead and go. I have Doctor as number 5.
Nice.
I think he's a lot of fun. He has a lot of flavor to him. I think his fate deck is perfect for his goal. There's a lot of cards that can, stop him with, big is it Big Daddy LaBeouf and
Yeah.
like Juju and all those heroes that can steal the talisman. And I'm not really a huge fan of Princess and the Frog, but I would say Dr. Facilier is my third favorite. No, he's my second favorite. He's my second favorite male Disney villain for sure. I think he's just really cool.
I'm young, so I like the movie. It came out
Yeah.
when I was, I think, 8 years old.
I think the movie has way.
Nine.
I think the movie has way too many songs that I don't really care for. The only song I like is "Friends on the Other Side." I think Dr. Facilier is. I think Dr. Facilier is the best part of Prince of the Frog for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
I can agree with that, I think.
But
I can...
and it
I
makes me
disagree.
sad that Disney World and Disneyland are making their Splash Mountain Tiana's Bayou Adventure without Doctor.
Is it without it?
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna include
Oh.
him. Because
Well,
technically he dies, which I get that, but he was the best part of the movie in my opinion. But
yeah.
I think Doctor is a lot of fun. I think his board it's really good. He has a lot of really good cards. Not really a whole lot I can say other than that.
I can go ahead and go. I'm a bit more neutral on him. I put him at number 16. So I think that he's got a lot of cool ideas going on. He's just too strong, really. And like a lot of the things he has going on like require you, like as the opponent, to fate him a lot to really get to get a lot of the stuff going, like the illusion powder or like the actual ability for the what's it called? Freaking cards will tell. About said friends on the other side. I was like, I know that's wrong. For the cards will tell to actually have a chance to fail, you have to actually fate him. Unlike Queen of Hearts, you actually can just straight up fail the shot. But like, I don't know, like if you're fading him a lot, I feel like he's one of the characters that actually like enjoys that because like it gets his gameplay really interesting. You've got lots of heroes, you gotta get the like fight for the talisman, you gotta keep the fortune pile clean, like but if you're not fading him a lot, he's just going to win really fast. He's one of the 3 that can win, like in a perfect game, he can win in 2 turns, which is insane. And
Oh, I thought
he's
it
one
was
of the
three.
3
I thought it was
your
3
curious
turns.
who are Gaston and Yzma. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have a ton to say about him either. It's just like, oh well, I don't know. I'll probably get into this a little bit with Hades, but Dr. Facilier has a lot of cards that are like that other characters have, but he just has objectively better versions of them, and I don't really know why they gave him so many things like that.
We'll
Yeah.
get into that with Hades. We'll get into that with Hades. I promise.
Yeah. Yeah, so for me, Doctor is near the bottom. I have him at number 19.
Oh.
I think it reflects for when I joined Villainous. Doctor was everywhere. He was being played all the time, and I was just like, ugh! Stop playing Doctor. Stop playing him. And I was like, why is everyone playing this character? I would disagree. I love Princess and the Frog. Tiana is one of my favorite Disney princesses. So I am very excited for her to get her stamp in Disney World and Disneyland, get her own little feature, because I think she's awesome. And she's a great role model for little girls. So I'm very excited for that. I know I'm probably in the lower percentage of those people in the world, but I don't care. So yeah, I don't like Doctor. I think he's way too easy. I wish that his talisman ability was like Syndrome, but it's not. So I think that's what they learned from for Syndrome for
Syndrome
with
is
the
funny
remote with the remote stealing, because technically they throw the talisman to one another in the movie, and the best song in Princess and the Frog is Almost There. It's beautiful.
Over Friends on the Other Side.
Yeah, man. Over Friends on the Other Side. For the guy who ran a giant Disney bracket about songs, Almost There killed it. Yeah. So I will stand by that. I love Tiana. I love Ray, and Mama Odie. But I don't ever pull out Doctor. I think I said this once. I ever pull out Doctor, like sometimes I'm really needing to win a game of Villainous, or you should ask me. He's like, hey, you okay? You're playing Doctor. I was like, ugh, you're right. I am playing Doctor. Something's wrong.
I think it's funny to me that one of the most common the two most popular characters for my friends that are not really into the game, but they'll play with me sometimes. The two that they gravitate just based on the character are Ursula and Dr. Facilier. Those are the two ones that they go for pretty consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Before we go, RJ made me want to ask this, but what are your all's favorite princess? I know RJ just said Tiana.
She's not my number one. My number one is Rapunzel. Tiana is in my S tier of princesses. Number one is Rapunzel.
Yeah, number one is Rapunzel for me too.
So for a long time, Jasmine was mine, but I think Belle has to be up there because she's pretty, but she's also smart, and I love smart girls.
No.
So definitely Belle for me.
For me, I think it's Ariel or Aurora. I always loved Aurora. I know she barely had any lines in the movie. Love her singing voice. I love Once Upon a Dream. I love her and Prince Philip, and yeah.
I was just wondering, but
no, great question.
We can get back to the characters now.
All right, Wahnderful. How do you feel about Doctor?
Okay, number 13. I liked him a lot originally. He fell on my list a little bit just because I haven't been playing him as much recently, but I think he oozes flair. I think he's, of all the villains in this game, I think he has the most pizzazz or style. I love seeing, especially when I'm playing with friends in real life, not on TTS or anything. I love seeing what's it called? Them squirm when I hand out my cards. I'm like, all right, pick your three. And there's oh shit, I hope I don't pick the wrong one. I think the art in his cards is really beautiful. Yeah, a little bit overpowered, but I just think the fortune pal mechanic is so fun. What's up?
You said I think he's a little overpowered, and I was like, a little?
Yeah, he's overpowered. Yeah, he's probably second best villain. Yeah, but yeah, I think he's fun, but not my first pick. I think I have him at 13.
I have him at 11th, and he's only on the lower side. He's not on the lower side, but still, he's not higher just because he's a bit overpowered. So I rather play with other villains, but still his mechanics are pretty unique, and I like how he plays. So I still put him at 11 instead of lower like Madame. Oh yeah, that's about it for me.
All
We can
right.
move on to the next one.
Next
All right,
up.
number 9, we're going for a rat race. Ratigan is number 9.
Radigan!
So sad.
The world's greatest criminal mind. Woo.
Go
Just
ahead. Go.
So sad because Ratigan is number 2 for me. I love playing Ratigan because it's just it's thematic out the wazoo. I just love all the combinations you can do with him, and I just admire his character. Ratigan was the random Disney villain that would scare the crap out of me as a kid. So I adore Ratigan. He's my favorite to play competitively. He's one of my favorites to fun. He's banned at almost all my friend games for me to play, so I rarely ever play him anymore. But I just have so much fun with him. All the things I can do with him.
Go ahead, Meta, because we know you like Ratigan.
Yeah, I mean, this may be surprising, but he's at 6th place for me. But that's not because I don't like him. For me, my top 10, I love all of them. So I still really like Ratigan. I just like some other characters a bit more. But yeah, I love Ratigan. I love how thematic he is. How most of the times you play, you are literally playing the movie scene by scene. I think that he's one of the best designed characters just because of that. And playing the ruffians is super nice, not only because you get a bit more power with them, and that way they can be either free or gain you 1 power, but also because in the end game you can use them to, for example, move the robot queen again, or maybe you have to defeat Basil and the other player does not expect you to play, for example, either 2 allies or play an ally and vanquish, but bam, you play the ruffians and immediately use them to play, I don't know, maybe another ruffians, and use those other ruffians to vanquish, and it's so satisfying getting those wins.
Yes. Oh my gosh. We talked before, Mim, about Cross, about the strategies you can use ruffians for with Felicia, all that. It's extremely satisfying. He has a lot of depth, surprisingly, with like what you could do with the ruffians. They're one of my favorite cards in the game completely. Mim, were you finished? Cross? I didn't want to overstep. Yeah, Ratigan's my number 1. He's so fun to play with for me. I really got to know him inside and out. I watched the movie recently for the first time. I really love his character. I think he's so funny. I love the idea of having a dual goal. So if you fail with one, or if it gets overturned, you have the opportunity to do a different goal, and you can totally shift your perspective. And I love that. I love how every card in the deck has a usage for either one or the other goal, or both. There's not a lot of fodder that you can go through. Devious is nice for fates. I just really love. Yeah, this is like probably the most thematic character. Besides, I think probably more than Facilier, but just really satisfying to play. Love all the items, love all the allies. I'm not sure what else I could say. I love watching my opponents squirm when they're trying to pick which fate to pick. Like, oh, do I bring out Basil now or later? You know, and it's such a fun time. Yeah. I like how the lair is like his own little place where he can just capture heroes and do some really cool stuff as well if they activate the fading. It's a really good location in my opinion, but all of his locations are pretty good. And yeah, that's about it.
All right, so I have Ratigan I have him at number 15. So some dislikes, or no likes. He does have a lot of good cards. What's that card? It's Most Brilliant Mind. It's gain 2 cards or gain 2 power. That's a really good card. Felicia is a really good card. He has a lot of really good cards. I've never seen Grey Mouse Detective until after he was in the Villainous lineup.
Same.
So I watched it, and he is very thematic. That's another thing I want to say. He is very thematic, which I love. Some dislikes about him. I don't think his fate deck is that great. He has 3 Queen guards that can only be played to Buckingham Palace.
Mm-hmm.
And so that can be annoying. I also think
Laversham and Olivia.
Olivia is only good when you play her to
An activated trap.
activate a trap, yeah.
Laversham is never worth playing as the opponent. I don't know. If you're done with stuff to say, I can go ahead and go.
No, there was something else.
Okay. Go ahead.
He just doesn't have that many fate actions to play. It's just it could just be frustrating. And obviously, it's so much easier for him to win as the rat than the what's bringing mine. It's so much easier for him to win when killing Basil, and then versus putting the Robot Queen at Buckingham Palace. But he is very fun to play. I would give him that.
I was debating that recently. I think with the rat, I find it a little bit difficult to kill Basil sometimes because he could be moved around often with Toby, with the makeshift balloon, and you don't have that many allies besides the Ruffians, Felicia and Bartholomew, just those guys. So, but yeah, no.
The worst is the worst is give Basil makeshift balloon, give him +2 strength. That'll make him an 8 strength. So just give Felicia, and then it's not that hard to kill Basil.
Yeah, I just find that he's able to be moved a lot with the what's it called? The call for help, Toby. So I've realized how many ways there is for him to be moved, but yeah, it's very very satisfying to kill him. I think it's really fun. I think Felicia is hilarious. How you just eat an ally to be played, and so it just makes so much sense with the movie. It's so fun.
I have to mention this. I don't mean to interrupt you, but my stepdaughter was Radigan for the very first time. Was it last night? No, it was 2 nights ago, and she won because someone discarded the Robot Queen, and she played Felicia to kill Basil. So that was just really cool to see. But my main gripe with Radigan is the fate deck.
Yeah.
I wanted to add one more thing. I think his mover is the best, bar none. Better than Horn King. Love the little cape. Love his little pose. I think it's very adorable. And his art on his cards is really good. Like the bell when he's just smirking like that. And Felicia's a pretty funny card too. Any thoughts on those things?
Nothing particular, but I'll just go ahead and share my thoughts on Radigan real quick.
Yeah.
When I first got the game, which was like right after Perfectly Wretched came out, he was my favorite character, and then he's fallen all the way down to 13. Nothing really against him. It was kind of just a thing of I realized how strong he was, and I always have liked the underdog characters, like I mentioned before. And also, it just kind of like there isn't as much strategy with him. I feel like not necessarily strategy, but like the way that I like to play is like making big combos or like dodging, like playing around what fates can hit me sort of thing. And Radigan doesn't really do either of those things. So, which that's why I got my top 3 as who they are. But for those reasons, but Radigan's got a fine villain deck. I personally don't like Devious very much. I think it's a little too strong, considering how weak his Fate deck is, which is my main gripe with him too. Like I said, Flaversham's never worth playing. Olivia has like one very niche use case. I mean, I guess she can be nice to be like a one to have like the what's it called, the sabotage on.
Yeah.
But other than that, she's pretty bad. The palace guards are very infamously bad too. And then like Dawson is all right when he is able to avoid capture. Mrs. Judson is okay. I don't know, like the other fate cards just aren't really strong enough, I feel like. I will say though, I really love the idea of the objective flip. I really want them to do it again with another character because like I feel like there's so much design potential with a objective flip that Radigan didn't really go into because Radigan's is more of like a backup option instead of like opening up the door to a whole new other side of gameplay. Like once you flip your objective, it's like 3 turns max before you win. So I feel like I don't know. There's a lot of design space there that they could work with if they do it an objective flip again. But that's about all I have to say about Radigan. Oh,
Yeah.
well, one thing I'll say is Radigan made me realize that I hadn't actually seen The Great Mouse Detective. I thought I had, but I had seen The Secret of Nymph, I think it's called, the other mouse movie that's not by Disney. And for years I had assumed that it was The Great Mouse Detective, but it was not.
Yeah, I definitely recommend seeing it. I agree with a lot of your points, but I do disagree. I think he does have a lot of really cool combos he can play. At the toy shop.
I like anymore.
Yeah, like I know your number one is Mother Gothel, and like I know the potential with her, the combo potential with her is insane, and I respect that. But I think some of the fates are really detrimental. Like Toby just sits and does nothing. He just blocks one of your most critical spaces just because there's no incentive to defeat him, really. Maybe a little bit, but it's just, some are just a pain in the ass. But no, a lot of them are kind of not that great, especially if we already have one Queen's Guard out.
Also, the Mouse Queen loses all value after the objective flips, which I feel like is disappointing.
I guess, yeah, you're right. I just hate having it out because then it's just like it's just fat ass strength sitting somewhere that you don't want. Like you're just blocking one of your good locations. Yeah.
Blocking actions is of course important, but I just don't like the heroes having no additional abilities sometimes. Let's move on to the next.
Alright, moving on.
So in the 8th place, we've got Maleficent. So what do you think about Maleficent?
I think Maleficent is one of my personal favorites. I'd say probably top 5. Just she seems so simple when you begin playing her, but as you begin to learn all the fun strategies and curse stacking, it just becomes a lot more interesting and fun to figure out how you're gonna get all the curses.
Yeah, I think she has a fair amount of depth to her gameplay too, like whether you want to stack the curses or spread them out, and just where you want to go. And I think she is a lot of fun to play with. She is my number 10. I'm still like getting to know her and kind of getting to know how to master her compared to other villains that I've really enjoyed playing. But she's a lot of fun, and I really appreciate her art on her cards. I think she has some really good art, especially like in the first box and such. And her mover is really good too. I would say it's like probably like a top 10 mover. But I really enjoy playing as her. Protecting the Raven is so important. I think the Raven is such a cool concept as an ally.
Yeah, the Raven is definitely a very cool concept as an ally. And it's interesting to see that the Raven was so powerful for Maleficent that the next sets included some cards that were similar to the Raven but had more limitations. For example, we have the Cane for Dr. Facilier, which is also very cool to use. We also have the chariot, which has a pretty unique ability of moving Hades around.
Yep.
So you pretty much only can use it once every 2 turns. So the Raven is pretty unique in that regard.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty much another free action every turn.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's too broken, because after you play a bit with Maleficent, you can notice that it's pretty dangerous to just play the Raven to locations that aren't protected by green fire. I think that's part of the fun, like both for the opponent and for you. Like for the opponent, because if you try to stop Maleficent from playing the Raven and playing those green fires, so they cannot get that boost in the action economy. And also with Maleficent, you are trying to think about, should I play it right now, even though I don't have the 2 green fires to move the Raven around and protect it? Or should I just risk it and try to get more actions? And the Raven is definitely pretty good to use for Maleficent, because normally the Raven will be OP, because that would mean that you perform 5 actions each turn with Maleficent. But Maleficent kind of has trouble getting rid of heroes sometimes.
Yeah.
Because most of the time players just try to play the curses. So it's also an interesting dynamic to try to see which locations you want to protect and which locations you want the Raven to go to. And I think that makes her pretty unique when you have the Raven out. And also, something that I really like about Maleficent. By the way, Maleficent is in the top 5 for me. I really like her. But I don't play as much with her.
Yeah.
And what I really like about her is that she's kind of like a glass cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Because she pretty much only needs to play 4 cards and she can win. However, her fate exit is pretty strong, so pretty much anything that's played on her is gonna discard at least one of those courses.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty fun to, especially for beginners, I feel, to see how easy it is to reach that 4 course threshold, but still so challenging to keep them until your next turn.
Yeah.
I think that's also makes her pretty unique.
Well said. Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like whenever the Raven's not in play too, like as the opponent of the Maleficent, I get a little bit on the edge for sure. Like I want to start fading, trying to find Prince Philip. But if the Maleficent already has 2 green fires out already, then it's already, that Raven's protected pretty much. So unless Stefan comes out, but yeah, there's a lot of heavy decision making you have to make with her, and like when to play the Raven if it's in your hand. If it's in your hand turn 1, I remember playing Raven turn 1 or so, and then the first fate, Prince Philip came out and said nope, and it was for it. But yeah, no, I totally agree with you, Cross.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite things about Maleficent is just all the little things you can do with her. For example, her 2 items, the spinning wheel and the staff, they're just some of my favorite little boosters you can put in some good locations and just have some lasting benefits. And then one of my just favorite random combos she does is moving the Raven to one of the 2 locations that has a move action, moving a green fire over, and then Maleficent can move there, move the green fire back, and perform all the actions there.
Yeah, it's been fun to pull that out.
What was I gonna say? I just forgot. I'll think of it.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
I was gonna say, she's... I do think, like, out of all the villains, like, she's kind of a lot where, like, you're building an engine, kind of like Ratigan, and, like, with those items, like the wand, I think it is a really cool item. I didn't touch on that, but yeah, I do think it's really nice to be able to, like, boost yourself in that way, not being able to pay so much power, because I do think she needs a lot of power to do what she wants to do, like whether it's getting rid of heroes. Like, I think she needs a lot of power, so it's helpful to have the wand and those little, like, building an engine.
Yeah, she's an interesting case because, for example, Gaston is sort of similar to her because Gaston also has a pretty strong fate deck that can replace his obstacles, and I think they are pretty similar. And I feel like Gaston could work better as a start of turn villain like Maleficent, mostly because the big difference between Maleficent and Gaston is that Maleficent can really get some sort of engine going. Like she can really set up her board to protect her courses and gain more power with both the Raven and the staff. No, the spinning wheel, and also save some power with the staff.
Also,
and the courses also give her a couple of protection in her locations, either giving heroes less strength or not letting heroes be played or stuff like that.
I like using Dragon Form too to kind of like take out weaker heroes and also like discourage my opponent from fading me for that one turn. So that's always nice too.
So yeah, any other thoughts?
Okay,
then. Let's move on to the 7th place, which is Alecrat's favorite, Hades. So yeah, very interesting to see Hades so, how do you say it, at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Because people really don't think Hades is that good in competitive play, and people really struggle to try to win with him. But still, I heard from so many people, and including myself, and they think that Hades is fun to play, even though he doesn't win that much. And yeah, I really like playing the Titans, and the fact that each time you move them, they have a special ability is also very fun, and gives you a bunch of strategies that you can use. For example, using the Vanquish ability on Pyros. I think it was Pyros, or maybe it was Stratos. One of those. To get rid of those nasty heroes, on maybe using the Cyclops to gain power and stuff. So, what else do you think about Hades?
I think a lot of this, I was kind of surprised to see him this high. I do agree. But, considering our Discord, there's a lot of people here in our community who love playing Hades. And I think it comes back to what I was saying in the first part was like, what people find most fun in a villain is what they value. So do they value the card combinations they can play? Do they like the nostalgia of the villain? Maybe they grew up watching the Disney movie. Maybe it's just the art on the cards, the movers, or just how they play. But I think in our community, we love villains who are just combo heavy. Who can do really cool combinations and plays. And I feel like Hades can do that, especially with the Chariot. I've seen some really cool players in our Discord do some really cool things with Hades. Yeah, I think similar to Maleficent, his Fate deck is very strong against him, and I think it makes him a little bit frustrating to play. And like you said, it's not very fun to play him competitively, but I think people love how satisfying it is to actually win as Hades. So that's why I think it is for a lot of people. But yeah, I also like the art for Hades cards. I loved him as a villain. In his movie, he's probably the most hilarious villain I've seen in the Disney franchise. I love his voice actor and all the jokes and the style. But yeah.
Yeah, I think Hades is actually surprisingly similar to Maleficent. I mean, the unique cards that the villain has to get on their board, the strong Fate deck, the Chariot and Raven, Staff and Panic kind of are similar. So there's quite a few things that are similar, but for me, he's actually not one of my all-time favorites. I think he's probably in my bottom 8 or 9 villains, just because I don't know, he's decent and decently fun to play. He's just, I don't know, doesn't give me the same combinations I like as Maleficent. Not sure exactly what it is.
Yeah, he's number 17 for me, actually. He's definitely a villain I want to get to know more and play a little bit more, but for now he's 17 compared to the other villains.
I put Owl at number, or not, so sorry. I put Hades at number 11. Sorry, I was looking at something Winnie the Pooh related. I put Hades at number 11 for myself. I think that he's got a cool thing. I like that all of the Titans have their own unique ability, but it's just kind of frustrating dealing with him having a super harsh fate deck and also objectively worse versions of cards than other characters have, particularly Dr. Facilier, who is in the same box as him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't know, like, why does Hades have Pain, who costs 2 power, and can only move a hero that he's at the same location as, where Dr. Facilier has Voodoo Dolls, which only cost 1 power, and don't have to be at the same location to move them? Like, it's just stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really have a lot to say about Hades. I just wish he was a little stronger because the Titans each having their own unique ability, I think, is super good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find Hades pretty fun. Especially in multiplayer matches where it's not as competitive.
Yes.
Those matches are mostly for fun. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty satisfying to get all those Titans to the end. When what's his name? Zeus? When Zeus is at the last location. So they get immediately trapped. And others think that they are all trapped. He can win yet. But then you play the planets align, and now you're at win condition.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty fun to kind of be in the end game and see the other players not being able to do anything with fading when your Titans are trapped, because nothing can move trapped Titans.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of interesting to get them out to bundle the inputs, have them trapped, and just wait for the right time to untrap them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed for a lot of people playing Hades, like, it's really frustrating if you get the order of the cards, or you're dealt not a great hand at the start, and then you have to discard key cards that should have came later. So I've noticed a lot of Hades players gets frustrated, like, when they don't get the right hand. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, I think the Titans are very cool. I love that you can play a potion on heroes, so then you don't have to actually get rid of your Titans or allies when you vanquish. I think that's really cool. Yeah, I think he has a lot of cool combinations. You just want to be cautious with not activating Rage and moving a critical hero back to the start or something. But yeah, no, I think he's awesome.
Yeah, both of his conditions are very useful for him.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really fun to trigger, especially what's the
Greed?
6 power?
Ruthless?
Or no, it's not Greed. It's
Rage?
No, Rage is the one that moves the hero. The one that he can play an ally or Titan for free.
That's Ruthless.
Isn't it?
Ruthless.
Oh, yeah. Ruthless is one of my favorites to just play, because it just feels so good to have a super expensive ally and just play him.
Mm-hmm.
So, any more thoughts on Hades?
I'm at work, so I'm gonna try to keep this short and sweet. So Hades is definitely my favorite. He is my number 1. There are a lot of things that I don't like. The Fate deck sucks. He has a lot of expensive cards, and he also has cards I think aren't very good, like Eye of the Fate, and like Baby Daisy said, worser versions of Voodoo Dolls and Frog Form. But he also has a lot of good cards, a lot of good allies. The Titans are really fun. Yeah, there's a couple things. I like how, first of all, it's very satisfying when you win with Hades, especially in a competitive setting. I think he has some of the best art in the game, and I'm also definitely biased because he's my favorite Disney villain. So it's kind of like how some people don't like Ursula, but they wanted to be good with her because she was so weak. I feel like that's kind of how I am with Hades.
Mhm.
You know, just trying to give him. He's definitely not one of the best competitive, especially if you get Fate's banned. It's just he moves too slow, and his Fate deck is so strong. First turn Hercules is probably the worst thing that could happen.
Exactly.
So I think I had him at number 18 on competitive, but I love his mover too. It just feels so good when you just hold it, and it's good. And I love the blue. Yeah, I think that's about it for me.
Yeah, something about. Just one thing I wanted to say about the mover. It has sort of a phallic shape that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But aside from that, it's a nice color. Very nice. Very pretty.
And I actually don't think Zeus is that bad. The worst thing about him is most likely he gets played to Olympus, which is arguably his best location. But sometimes you do want to move your Titans over because you can't move trapped Titans. So I don't think he's that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But you do want to get rid of him because you want to free him out.
It's strange that Zeus kind of protects Titans by trapping them.
Yeah.
So you can bring one Titan over there, then it gets trapped, and you don't have to worry about that Titan being moved all the way back to the start. What's up, Jarek?
Yeah,
What's up, Lord Chaos?
Tell
We're
me
actually
about
in
the
a
podcast about Hades.
This
This is a podcast right here at Warcast.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on Hades?
Me?
Yes.
Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've enjoyed Hades, since I got them, since, 2020, and when my first ever win was against MetaCross, which was, I had 4 Titans there, and I won. It was a 50-50 shot against, he would play Jafar, and I won with 4 Titans there, and it came down to a lightning bolt, and I won.
I remember. I was at win condition.
You were at win condition as well, yeah. It literally came down to a lightning bolt, yep. I remember that game.
Love intense games like that.
Yeah. And also, I think I won in a 5-player game. I stayed for 4 Titans there. We had Pete and the Queen of Hearts. Waco was there. Patrick was there. I don't remember the last 2. I think they were new. I think we had also did have Metaman there as well.
Yeah,
it was crazy. There was a lot of crazy games where I just win where sometimes I have won a season, sometimes I have not.
Yeah. We were talking about how similar Hades is to Maleficent, how cool the Titans are, how they have different abilities. We were talking about how cool the mover is and the art Hades has. Also, just how strong the Fate deck is, which makes him sometimes not as fun to play as. But yeah, and how satisfying it is to win as him.
It is very satisfying. Yeah, once you have 3 there, and I was close one time as Hades, but Metacross came in with Lotso and he won. So. Yeah, we had Radigan, but I had to fade him, so there was no way to tell. So
yeah,
I almost got lucky. I almost did, but I got so unlucky at the end.
Yeah.
But I have Hades, my Hades puzzle art on my other monitor, so that's why I just have that good right on my other monitor. Just have it,
Yeah,
it's just beautiful.
I like Minimalist too. I feel like when Hades is played, I usually like to play him in a casual setting where there's not really much competitiveness going on. If I see my opponent picking Hades, I'll usually pick someone who's a little bit weaker, not Radigan or something, but I'll pick Horn King or something a little bit more evenly matched.
Yeah. I've won as Horn King I won as Hades against Horn King before.
Yeah. But yeah, I think with this Discord and how many people love Hades here, I'm not surprised he earned number 7. but he's a very combo-heavy character. I think he's very enjoyable to play. Any other thoughts?
Yeah. Like, there's combos to do with Hades, which I love. Moving the chariot to like Mount Olympus or moving it back to the underworld, and like using like I don't want to say like using all the air move cards like Get Rid of Rumble just to get keep moving them, just use their abilities, And I really like all the Titans' abilities. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about Hades, the Titan abilities. I really like characters, villains that can do stuff by not necessarily playing a card. For example, Hades by moving Titans, or some characters by activating and stuff like that. I really like those.
Yeah, sometimes he yes, sir. But yeah, sometimes you don't want to play cards with Hades because like I made like crucial mistakes with Hades before. Like I try to do like other things, but sometimes it don't pay off. There's risks to take, and sometimes there is not.
Yeah.
That's right.
Should we move on to number 6?
So yeah,
Sure.
By the way, Hades is number. I don't remember where I put him in the title. Let me
Hades is number 7. Oh, for yourself?
Yeah, for
for yourself?
For me is 13.
Yeah, I'm at 17.
10?
But I'm definitely more.
He's just my number one in my tier list, but like I just got better with him.
Nah.
Hot take, I think
Yeah.
Jared is sort of overrated.
Okay.
I actually discard it sometimes because you could use that 3 power on stuff that can last longer. Because we all know Chariot is Hades' hairbrush. It'll be gospel truth almost right away. So it's going to go away at some point.
Right.
So sometimes I just don't follow it.
Right. There's times where I usually
that makes sense.
have the chariot like turn 1 and just wait for the gospel truth to be gone.
Yeah.
But also, it's
Yeah.
almost smart to think of like, maybe you want to play it early and get as much use of it as you can before it then goes away. I don't know, because eventually it's going to go away.
You can, yeah. It can, yeah. Inevitably can, yeah.
So like similar
that's a way.
to Maleficent with the Raven, like you know
Yeah,
it's
with
gonna be
Prince Philip,
targeted.
yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it's a bit sad that the Chariot is a worse Raven and doesn't have the fact that there are 2 or 3 cards in the Fate deck that discard it. So yeah, that was Hades. Moving on to the next one. We have at number 6, Cruella Devil. So yeah, she's also one of my favorite characters. I have her in my second place. I really like her. Mostly because, as I said, I really like villains that can do stuff to get towards their objective without necessarily playing cards. And for example, Ursula, once she has both her allies, pretty much she just needs to activate every turn.
Yeah, pretty much. Cruella has like skyrocketed up in my tier list. She got up on like almost like B to A because I got better with her, just how to like keep Jasper and Horace on the field, capturing the puppies, activating over and over again. It's great. I'm enjoying her as well.
I think Cruella is my second favorite villain after Mother Gothel. I really enjoy playing her, especially against people like Dr. Facilier, where it doesn't seem like should be a good matchup, but it kind of works.
No. Could, maybe. Who knows?
Bringing out, like, I just love having all the puppies on the board and then moving Jasper down the board to collect all of them, getting tons of power. And then also she's really good at fading, so it works against Dr. Facilier, and I've won several against him, so she's one of my favorite, like, really underpowered characters that is a good counter pick.
Yeah.
I have
Go ahead.
I really enjoy playing Cruella de Vil. I got one of her box. I think her box like the last of my collection. But I really enjoy playing her. Her art on her cards is really pretty. She's not the most competitive villain obviously, but I think her art is beautiful. I think the play style really fits her. It's really thematic. I love the movie. Love her personality. Her mover is excellent. It's probably like a top 5 mover in the game. I'm trying to think of what else. I think it's really fun to, activate. I like the whole concept of like, oh, which puppy will go where, and like having to adapt to that. I'm trying to think of. I think she has some really cool effects in her deck.
She's got some very good effects though.
Yeah, and I think, she can be a fate monster. I realize with the Vanquish and on one space. I do wish that she had an activate on her lower board, like on the lower side, rather than both
makes sense.
On the top, but otherwise, like I think she's awesome, and she's my number 5.
Cruella DeVille, like. Yeah,
Go
like
ahead.
Cruella DeVille, thanks, Baby Daisy. But like Cruella DeVille, I definitely do have like other plans with her to like start playing with her a lot, because I remember like when I saw Dixie's server, she put Cruella DeVille at number 3, and I was like, wait, how is she gonna? I guess because she's really good with him, because like she's very good with her, and she like had like almost all the puppies on the board. I'm like, oh wow, this is really interesting. Actually, I might have to play her. I gave her like a shot, and like without just enjoying like the effects of play on like anything. Like my favorite one of my favorite cards with Crawl is the Roadster, which is just an unlimited move where you can just move puppies, just to locations of Jasper and Horace, just capture them.
Yeah,
I really love the Roadster a lot. It's one of my favorite cards. And I love get the job done as well.
Go ahead.
I put Cruella at number 9. She used to be a little higher up. When I first got into the game, I really liked her. I thought that she had a lot of interesting stuff going on. She kind of fell down over time because I realized that she's a bit weaker. She has like, if you're going at someone that's like or you're looking at the characters and like what's like the absolute perfect possible like fastest way to win, she's tied for like the slowest, with surprisingly enough Madam Mim. But it's just kind of like that thing of it can be really hard to win with her and make progress. The Fate deck doesn't necessarily always hit you that hard, but when it hits hard, you are completely knocked to the ground. And it's just kind of
hard for you.
Yeah, it's kind of just a thing of, even though I find like the positioning and stuff to be really interesting, and I do still play her from time to time, she kind of just like fell through the ranks a little bit, from being like 2nd or 3rd down to 9th, as I tried out more other characters and got better with others that are up higher. So, yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely my second favorite slowest character.
I feel like if you're not getting like fire pokers and like you are not able to like vanquish the heroes, then it's like a big issue. Like some
you want to start like discarding a lot with Cruella pretty much to get the pokers.
Yeah, I do wish she had a little bit some more ways to vanquish, or just that have better hero control. Yeah. But it is a cool mechanic, like trying to balance between like, do you want to vanquish or like not, and get rid of your ally.
Yeah, there was a time where I didn't vanquish with with the Jasper because I didn't want to lose him just to capture the puppies.
Yeah. Cool. Any other thoughts from anybody?
Not really, no. There's not a whole lot. But I love all the art of Cruella. The red is just amazing. It's probably one of the beautifulest red boards I've ever seen. And like, I just appreciate all the artwork they've done on her, because I used to watch 101 Dalmatians when I was a kid as well. So I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah.
I don't like her headshot. Like, I think her face doesn't really look like her as bony. It looks kind of like fuller. I don't know why it doesn't look like her to me, but like on her cards, it looks like her to me. Like, I think her face portrait, whatever, could have been done better, but otherwise I'm really a fan.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah. On the I Live for First card, I would say, and the the board, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. I can see that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was Cruella. And now moving on to the top 5. First we have Lady Tremaine. And she's also one of my favorite characters. And she's a tier place for me. Yeah, she's a tier place for me. I really like her. So yeah, one of the things that I really like about her is how much she can control her fate deck. And even though she cannot really vanquish heroes, by controlling her fate deck and trapping the heroes that get on her board, she can really not get too bothered by being fated a lot. And also, Lucifer is also pretty fun to use, especially when you get to force someone else to play Jack to a location with for example, with a Glass Slipper and make them discard it, or maybe you force them to play Jack to another hero to Lucifer's location, so the ability isn't even resolved. That's pretty satisfying. The condition Vicious Practical Jokes is probably the best one in the whole game, or at least the best one in terms of fate conditions, because being able to choose which card is played and where, it's super powerful. And it would be OP in pretty much any other character, but for Lady Tremaine, since if she doesn't do a good job controlling her fate and which cards get played to her, then she can really be affected by all the constant fading, by having her board full of heroes, so she can't really gain power nor do anything else really. And also in the end game, when she has to move out one of the daughters to the ballroom, it's very tough to have the board covered with heroes and only being able to move them once per turn, and then getting Sweet Nightingale. So yeah, literally, it's really fun to try to stop the fates from affecting you, and try to do it as fast as everything as fast as you can, because with Ultimate you need a bunch of cards. So, a bunch of specific cards to play. So you really have to discard pretty much every turn you can. So those are my thoughts on Lady Tremaine.
I put Lady Tremaine at number 9. My little fun anecdote before I get into the reasons on why I put her there for Lady Tremaine is that when I first got into the game, it was right after Perfectly Wretched released, so Lady Tremaine was not in the game yet, and I thought it was so surprising that she wasn't in the game that I decided to seek out a way to make a character for her myself. So that's how I found the Discord server, and that's how I got here. Anyway, I don't know. I just kind of find her style to be pretty interesting. Kind of like I said before, I like to sort of dance around the fate deck sort of thing with how I play certain characters. And with Lady Tremaine, you absolutely have to be prepared to make sure that certain fate cards aren't going to hit you, because if anyone like Fairy Godmother or Jack or something like that is going to hit you, then you're probably not going to be winning the game. There are a few things. I'm not particularly sure why the Prince is there at all, other than for flavor purposes, but and it can be annoying once you've played the ball gowns to draw back into the regular versions that you're never going to be able to have a way to play. I just kind of find it fun to like have this function of like swapping out different cards for each other and like making like upgrading things sort of thing. I like the idea of unattached fate items and stuff that have their own abilities. And like all of her items that she has in her deck have good abilities, which I don't know. I just love me some good items, so that's why I put Lady Tremaine there.
Nice. Yeah, I think she has one of the best fate she probably has the best fate defense in the game. And we talked about Maleficent being a glass cannon. I think she's kind of the opposite, where she can control her fate deck so well. And like you were saying, Cross, I think that's why she's so high. I'm not a fan of like the whole cycling your deck to look for specific cards in a specific order. Like, I'm okay with that for other villains, but I think with her, it's the most essential to find like 4 or 5 cards that you need. And yeah, I don't like the ability not being able to like vanquish your heroes unless you play Midnight. But it's a character that I'm interested in, and I still want to get to know better. But yeah, I have her at number 16. I think I do like her items. I could totally agree with that. I like how she has a plethora of items to use, and they all do have great abilities. I feel like it's hard to discard any of them when they come up. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I can totally agree with you talking about how good Lady Tremaine is MetaCross because of how insanely good she is with using her fate deck. She's definitely like a character I would never play. She's in my 19th because of how annoying she is when you play against her because of the vicious practical jokes is one of the most OP condition like fates to look at. It's very, very annoying to me. And I understand I love the items as well. And I can definitely see that the fate deck is brutal for her at some time, like with the glass slippers and Fairy Godmother as well. When you get hit hard with those, they're gonna stop you for a lot. And I don't mind the trap tokens though; they're very unique for using that for not having her to vanquish too much because she never vanquishes in the movie. And like, I never grew up with the movie at the time. She was definitely the I don't want to prescribe this. She's like one of those characters like I never got around to play. I did play with her once, and I did not really enjoy too much of her because I played against Madame Mim and I played as Lady Tremaine once, and I played as Madame Mim once. Played her against Madame Mim, excuse me, and it was not like my type of game because Madame Mim just swept away and I couldn't do anything. There's definitely like a lot of like fate heaviness towards the fate deck, which does stop you a lot. And I don't really enjoy Lady Tremaine too much. Because she's mainly a discard game, but I'm mostly the discard game with Lotso though because he's very situational. But I can see your points with Lady Tremaine Metacross because of how how manipulating the fate deck is. I can totally see that. But yeah, that's my 19th in my TOS, but that's all I have for her. But she's very good design.
Another thing I really enjoy about her is just how thematic she is. Like, she's a very manipulative person in the movie, and so like being able to manipulate your fate deck, I do think that's quite like fitting. And so I do enjoy that about her.
Yeah, I do enjoy that as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Very interesting that Lady Tremaine was one of the first villains made by Ravensburger, and how people really like her, and most people agree that she's one of the best design characters made by Ravensburger. But maybe that's just because people really don't like the others that came out in the latest 2 expansions.
Yeah, I could see that.
Mm-hmm. I love the entire Despicable Plots box besides Tremaine. Like, it's like one of my highest rated boxes. I think Evil Comes Prepared is my first. But yeah, no, good points.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's it. Going over to the next one, which is gonna be Yzma, the Empress. But yeah, Yzma is a very unique character because of how her fate deck works. And fun fact, she's the only character that has an extra card. Everyone else, if they need another card, they use tiles.
Wait, say that again?
Every other character that needs extra cards for their gameplay, they instead decided to give them tiles instead of cards. So Isma is the only one that gets an extra card.
Yeah, Yzma has 16 fate cards and 30 villain
Yeah,
cards.
16.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It makes sense from a design perspective, so with the 4 piles and everything. Anyone want to start off with their thoughts about Yzma?
I can start. I put
Go on.
Yzma at number 5. I really like Yzma. She's my sister's favorite too. She doesn't play the game much anymore, but when she does, she like only will let her let her have Yzma. Sorry, stumbling over my words there. I kind of find like the sort of like searching out the fate decks and like just the sort of random feel that it gives things to be really fun. It's kind of fun also how you can use the smash with a hammer to kind of play whack-a-mole with the fate decks, or take the risk of shuffling them out just to try and get the the meat hut unblocked like permanently. And superiority is a super good way to work with the fate deck too, which I think it's nice that they gave Yzma that. Kronk is a super good ally. I love that he doesn't go away, because that makes it easier to vanquish. And I think that they came up with a really cool way to make him be able to switch back and forth between sides. So I don't know. I think Yzma's got a lot of fun thematics going on, and especially like in the way that these thematics play out in the gameplay, not just sort of like on the visuals of the cards or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I totally agree.
Also, one of the things that I really love about Isma is that not only what she does is very thematic and fits very well with what she does in the movie, but also when you're playing as her, you can sort of feel her same emotions. Like, you're really desperate to find that pesky Cusco and moving all over the place and trying to keep Kronk on your side, and it's super fun, to be honest. You really feel it when you try to look for Cusco and he just doesn't appear, and then your fate decks are shuffled with each other, and still sometimes that maybe is a bit annoying, but I still really like to play her.
Yeah, I think she's one of the best thematically created characters in this game. It's so satisfying to play with her, and like try to find Cusco. It is so fun, and yeah, you're make a great point. You're feeling the same emotions she does. Like, you're frustrated, you're having a great time. I think she was designed very well. I like whittling down the fate deck with whack-a-mole, smashing with a hammer. I think that's very fun. I have her at number 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8. When I first played her, I was thrilled. It's so fun. I like also just playing after them and just kind of guessing where Cusco is, just for some fun. And yeah, it is frustrating when the palace is covered, and when there's like one or both of the children out, because then you have to like vanquish them back and forth, and you're hoping that one of your conditions pops. I know one of them does that. You're able to vanquish one of them, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, Ferocity. Yeah. Yeah, I think her mover is great. I think her art on her cards is in top 5. I think she has some really good art on her cards with her expressions, Kronk, the different heroes, characters. I think it's all great. Yeah, great character to play.
Yeah, like Yzma is very, very thematic. I can give you that, but like Yzma can be kind of annoying to some players, like maybe like me personally, but I usually never had a lot of experience with Yzma playing, but I definitely do need to play her more because she's definitely the most fun thematic one with like finding Cusco in the fate decks, and it's very. I don't mind the fate deck, so it's very, very unique. I really like that a lot, and having Kronk on like your side or the hero side, very, very cool. I would definitely personally agree that having Chicha is the worst at the palace, pretty much. And then because I've learned that from Dixie's server, because the power will be gone if you have like low power, just like 2 or 3 power. They're like you can't get it back, because that's covering up the 2 and the 2 power and the the other action. I don't remember what it was.
I think to move something. You have to move a character.
Move, because the bottom one's play a card of Vanquish. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Wahnderful. I need to play Yzma more so I can get more fun with her, so I can enjoy her. Definitely the Fate deck can be confusing for some people because it'll be your first time playing Yzma a lot. But I would say beautiful art in Yzma. I love the superiority fate condition. I love the Path That Rocks as well. It's one of my favorite cards in Yzma's deck as well.
Yeah.
And I love all the funny puns as well.
I didn't realize how beneficial that card was until I started playing it, because then you also gain that power back, which is great. I think Fake Funeral is one of the funniest cards I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, it's very funny.
Like, for how many
the cards
heroes
are so funny.
Yeah, for how many heroes are in your discard, then you gain the power to that level.
You get up to 3 power total. Yep.
Yeah,
up to 5.
Limit
up
to
to
5.
3.
Yeah,
limit of 5. Yeah. But it's she's definitely like one of the most funniest like thematic characters I need to play more. I know she's low tier for me in my like maybe mid to low tier, but I need to play her more so she can rank up. I need to play her more usually. But yeah, that's all I have on Yzma. She's awesome. She's great though.
Yeah, someone else has something to say about her? Alright then. On number 3, we've got Pete, the classic Disney villain, and the first one in Disney Villainous that is not from the Disney canon, because he is from the original Mickey Mouse shorts. But still a classic villain, and very interesting to see how there was someone, I believe it was Jim Dandy, that hated Pete in the other podcast. So sadly he's not here to tell us why he doesn't like him.
Okay,
but
good.
I think Pete is pretty good. And it's a super unique objective of pretty much having 4 different objectives, smaller ones, and they are random and they are at different locations each game. So playing with Pete gives you a lot of variety. It seems to be more variety than what it is when you play him, because although the goals can be at different locations, some don't really matter at which location there are, and there are others that you're pretty much doing the same thing no matter at which location they are. For example, the one that needs you, what is it? The one where you need to spend 6 power at a location.
Yep. And have total 10 strength and more allies, and have the heroes with more have allies and more heroes at each location.
So yeah, the one that you have to spend 6 power on a single location. Pretty much it doesn't matter where it is, unless it's at the last location where you have to play card actions. Because most of the time you're just gonna try to get 3 bandits and get enough power and just play them out in one turn. Same thing with play a game, unless it is at the location we need to play a card's actions, then it doesn't really matter at which location that goal is. So it's less variety than what it seems at first, but still, the fact that he has 5 different calls and only 4 are gonna be present in each game makes it so you still have to change your strategy each time you play with Pete. And also it's sort of fun to play against him because you have to really see which cards Pete is playing and where, to try to guess which of the goals are in which locations. And with Pete you also something that some players do is to try to trick the other player to think that a certain goal is in a certain location. So they try to play fake cards trying to stop you from completing that goal. But little did they know, that goal was actually a play a game and you just won 4 power by playing a game. So yeah, super fun to play with him, I believe. But I think he's on the slower side, sadly.
I see.
I can go next. I put Pete in number 11. I miscounted earlier. Hades was actually at 12, not 11, which means I might have said Cruella's wrong too, because I based it off of Hades. But anyway, I think that Pete is pretty good. He's just kind of one that I've never really known where to put, which is kind of why I put him in the middle. I think that the main thing for me is that his skill ceiling is just a little bit too high. You can get really good with Pete, and your opponent's just gonna have no idea what you're doing anytime if you're that good with him. But I'm just not really able to do that with him, so I kind of can get a little bit frustrated from time to time when I'm trying to use him. I think a part of it is also it's really hard to hide that you have strike it rich as one of your goals, the 3 items at a location one.
Yeah.
As that's the only goal that you need the items for. I mean, unless you want to use them to guarantee that power play or the win big will go off. You can get around it if you don't want to use them for whatever reason. Like, you have to have the items used for Strike It Rich, obviously, which means that it's going to be really obvious that that's the goal that you're setting up, which I think is kind of where my plans fall apart, is just trying to figure out what to do in relation to the items in Strike It Rich when that comes up. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have him at number 11 as well, right down the middle. I don't want to repeat too many things that everybody else has said, but my fiance loves playing as Pete, and she brought up a really good point of why. It's because, like, when you clear a goal as Pete, it is step-by-step progress that is irreversible. You will never lose that progress, and it's so satisfying just to, like, see your progress not being taken away, as compared to, like, Gaston or other villains who can, like, are so swingy. So, like, with Pete, once you get that goal off the board, it's off the board, you're good to go. So it's really satisfying to see that incremental progress towards your goal. I think that's really satisfying, a really satisfying part of Pete. Like you guys have mentioned, I love how every time you play Pete, it's a unique experience pretty much with the goal placements. I think his Fate deck is pretty balanced, and I really do appreciate that about him as well. I mean, obviously Mickey and Minnie are pretty crippling, but other ones are much lighter or can be dead fates. I like his mover. I love his art style. I think the art is beautiful in his cards. I love how he can manipulate his own villain deck to kind of benefit him for play a game or other things like this. I just love his mechanics. I think a lot of his cards are expensive, so he doesn't need a lot of power, which is where I struggle. But I've really been enjoying playing Pete, and he's probably going to rise on my tier list a little bit as I play him a little more.
Yeah, no, like, Pete is in my top 2. He's in my top 2. He's very, very fun. There's a lot of, like, combo plays you can do with, like, all the items you can have, and using the horses as well, just to move so many stuff. And the Fate deck is very balanced. The art is amazing. I love the black and white as well. Just like classic old 1930s, 60s cartoons, And, like, the only cripple, like, fates for me are usually, for Mickey and Oswald if you have to play a game, or pretty much Goofy or Donald or Minnie, pretty much. Horace can sometimes screw you up, but that's not, like, a little too bad, besides, like, Minnie. So I love everything about this game. I love the how the play game works. And there was one time I did, me and Wa played one close game he was guest on. I was Pete, and he had one obstacle left, and I had one goal, and I won with the last goal with 3 items. It was close. It was one of the closest games I probably ever had. Yeah, against him as guest on.
Wasn't that the game where I put down
Bell?
Come into the light, and then it could have been Bell or Cogsworth for the win.
Bell or Mrs. Potts and Chip for the win. Yeah, it was a 50-50 shot. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It was one of the closest I've ever played as Pete, I would say. And then when you're not like focusing on Pete, you know he's gonna like sweep the whole game pretty much without being faded. And there's sometimes I struggle with Pete's fate deck just to like know which items go where, which allies go where. Depends on the fate deck, but I don't mind him. I find him super, super fun. He's one of my favorites. I enjoy Pete so much. He's my favorite. He's one of my favorites because he's in my top 2. I just love it.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I also sometimes forget where the items go. And
the stolen cargo, jalopy, Steamboat Willie, bank loot. I think I may have missed one item. I think, but I think those are the ones I know right now.
One for each location.
Right. Oh, cool. All right, nice. Thank you. Yeah, but I love his realm. It's they actually do have a little bit of some like Hades switch up as well, where you know the 3 powers on the right side, like the far right with Hades, and it's just like with Hades, it's just on the left, and like that's right, and Mount Olympus is on the left. I love this. I love the. It's almost like he almost has a clear same actions like Hades, and like, but there's other ways usually to stop Pete. Like the Knock Silly card can be good sometimes. Depends on when you have to do when he has to play a game on the board, and usually you don't have to discard a lot with Pete. I just enjoy Pete a lot. He's like my top 2. I find no problems with him. He's just so enjoyable to play.
So I have Pete at number 6. I've actually been playing him more than usual lately. Out of the 3 times I was him last, I won 2 of those. To be fair, one of them I did not have Strike It Rich. But I think he's a lot of fun to play. I love the art. I love how it's in black and white. Something I also really love about him is you can use any card. You want to discard to get, those goals started, but you could play any card and it'll have some benefit. His allies are really good. The items are really good. The one item I would probably change, bank loot or stolen cargo. I wish one of those instead had like a vanquish action instead of 2 of those being 1 power.
Ooh.
That would definitely make it a little bit too OP sometimes and give him a vanquish. But I can see your point.
Yeah.
You make a great. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You're not finished.
I am still trying to develop that, like poker face, like not trying to give my opponents ideas on where the goals are. I'll never forget the first time I was P. My wife was Gothel, and that game took over an hour.
Oh Jesus!
Wow.
But I eventually won. But yeah, he actually moved up from B to A tier for me because I've just been enjoying him a lot lately.
Nice.
I think you make a great point that there's no bad cards that P has. Like every card has some utility or has some benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's it for me.
This box is among one of the best, like designed wise, and also like if you're playing a hero from this box, if you stick with a hero in the same box, it's gonna be such a good game. Even though all 3 of these villains are really like on the slower side, they're really well designed, and I think they're definitely well favored by our community.
Definitely.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
I was gonna say
okay, thank you.
With Corella being number 6, that's the first villain from this box that we're talking about, and she's only at number 6.
Yeah, definitely. Like Perfectly Wretched is one of the most balanced boxes in all of Villainous because, like, definitely, Pete is not really slow, but he can be slow sometimes. But he's really good. Corella's one of the slowest out of it, but she's still fun. And Gothel is kind of slow, but she's sort of like a puzzle, like with the hair with using Rapunzel a lot, and like just trying to get her back to the tower, and just trying to get a lot of trust as 10 trusts as possible with the hairbrush and all the combos you can do. It's very, very interesting. I need to play Gotham more as well. So
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that because we still have 2 more villains left.
yeah.
So yeah. Oof, we're getting close to the top one. So next up is Evil Queen, which I'm sort of surprised because I've always felt like Evil Queen doesn't have much strategy going for her, because she mostly just needs to play her 4 ingredients and then just get enough poison to kill Snow White. So I find her boring because of that. She's very simple, and her fate deck doesn't do much. Her heroes don't do much after they have been played, so you can pretty much ignore them, which I normally don't like in villains. Yeah, for me, she's not that fun. What about you guys?
I put her at number 6. I really like the idea, and I think that if her fate deck kind of interacted better with you being able to use poison and like not just be able to like stock up on power for the whole game and then just get tons of it and then put it all into poison at once, and then there's nothing that you can do about the poison anymore. Like, I think that she'd be even better, but I think it's kind of fun getting the the ingredients all ready to unlock the cottage, and then if you were more incentivized to use it, I think that the unique way of defeating heroes is really fun to use. I really like the unique defeat characters, so Lady Tremaine, Evil Queen, and Ursula. So I like her. So she's got lots of good items too. Like I was saying before, I love good items. So yeah.
I really enjoy her as well. I agree that she is simple, but I think she's just really fun to play otherwise. I have her at number 6 as well. Recently, Cruella de Vil is higher than her, but I love when villains have creative ways to defeat villains. Defeat heroes, like you said. I love just using the ingredients, the different combos that you can pull with like Black of Night, I think it is, that you can like replay an ability. I think that's the right one. But yeah, I think she's some strategy going on. I think she's very reactionary. Like a lot of things that I do with her, like it depends on what's going on the board. Yeah, and like what cards I want to play, what am I looking for. So I like that. It's not very straightforward, but it kind of is. I love her art. I love the purple of her board as well. I think the purple is really beautiful. We have like 3 purple villains. And I think hers is the best. Her mover is great. I like the Huntsman a lot. I love his art. I wish he was a little bit better, but when you get to defeat one hero, then you get your investment's worth. But yeah, she's a lot of cool items as well. So definitely a cool little engine she has, and I love the poison mechanic.
I was just gonna
Definitely
say, like purple characters.
Okay. All right. Definitely, like Evil Queen is very, very powerful. One of the very powerful characters I usually play against, and I found her so annoying sometimes with the Huntsman just being at the woods and just moving Snow White right there, and I just find it so annoying just to fade her so much, and that's the one point where I got so frustrated with her. Like, I didn't mind her at first, but now she dropped all the way in my, 17, and I just didn't like her at that point. Like, I don't mind the poison mechanic, though. Like, I find that very good, because she doesn't have to vanquish heroes. And, I don't mind the heroes, like Happy can take away the poison. The Wishing Well is kind of not the greatest, but it can be good in some certain situations, like where it can be played to the lab or the depending on the situation one is. And she definitely I definitely do adore the art of her. It's been a while since I've seen Snow White, but once you get sworn with her, I don't think there's no way you're gonna win without, unless you have Doc on the board pretty much and just keep them all powered up and like keep the Snow White protected at with all costs, just to keep that take the bite card away from her, and just I definitely do like the dwarfs as well. They're I think they have very good abilities, and this is the second hero villain that got a move hero, because Captain Hook was the first one to move hero. Well, plus Ursula. Well, that'll be the third hero villain that will get a move hero. I don't mind that. And usually with there are times I'm like, I feel like I don't want to play Evil Queen sometimes too much. This is some points where I'm just like, nope, no way. I don't like playing with her too much.
Yeah, for me, she's almost at the bottom. She's the second worst for me. I really don't like her. She's just one step ahead from Madame Mim. Mostly because I just find her boring, and also since she's in the top of the tier list along with Madame Mim, I just feel like, I don't know, when I win with her, it doesn't feel as good.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely for me.
Like it's kind of expected, but I've had a crazy interaction with Evil Queen where I made my fiance have to pay like 13 or 14 poison to take down Snow White. Like I think I had both pickaxes on her. I had like 6 dwarves out.
Isn't the most like possible 16?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, I mean you can have all 7 out. I know Dopey increases them by 1.
Yes.
And then there's 2 pickaxes, I think, or 1.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's 2 pickaxes.
There's 7 other heroes. Dopey gives her an extra one, so that's 12. 2 pickaxes would put her at 16. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow,
16. Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. Also, like if you're hoarding power and Happy comes on the board, you can take away half that power. I think that's what his card does.
Well,
Right?
only if it's poison.
Yeah,
only if it's poison. Yeah.
So that's kind of crippling too in the late game. So I think her fate deck is kind of balancing, but it could be a little bit better. Like, yeah, but I like her playing her a lot. I think it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't have too much else to say. I think the strategy of playing ingredients again for their benefit is kind of clever that you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any other thoughts?
I guess that's all I have to say. She's Evil Queen's my mom's favorite. That's what I'll say.
Nice. So, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. The best character to play as in Disney Villainous, which is Mother Gothel. Which does not surprise me at all.
Me neither. She's my number 1.
No surprising.
Uh-huh. Yeah, she's also on my... let me check. She's my top 4. I really love her. As I said, I love characters where you can do make progress on your objective without necessarily playing cards. And she's the perfect example. But by moving the brush, by vanquishing, by pretty much those 2 things, but still it's pretty unique because you can also, for example, move cards to move heroes around so they don't bother you, and maybe someone faced you with a weak hero and you just revenge them and get a free trust, which is also super satisfying. Also, I love that sometimes playing cards with her depends a lot on the board state, not only where Rapunzel is, but also where you are and what other cards you have played. Mostly because of Mother Knows Best. Is that the card? No, it's I Love You Most. which is a
to get
wonderful
to
card.
trust. Yep.
It's one of the main ones for Motogotel for her nice combo of setting up a vanquishing Rapunzel, and then playing that card to get a whopping 2 trust. Or maybe if you combine it with a knife, maybe also the crown, and possibly also moving the brush, you can get a whopping 5 trust in a single turn, which is
There's
super
a way to get
satisfying.
6 first too.
Really? Wow.
It's super satisfying to pull off all those combos with her, and she's probably the best character I'd say for this kind of gameplay of setting up combos to do as much as you can in a single turn. So yeah, I think she's very good. I love her. Not surprised to see her at the top 1 spot.
I think the way that you get the 6 trust combo is if you're at the tower while it's not blocked, you can move the brush to Rapunzel's location, play Revenge on Flynn Rider, and then vanquish Rapunzel with a knife. On one of those 2 vanquishes, get rid of the crown, and that gets you 6 trust in 1 turn.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I never thought of that. Wow.
Yeah,
It's a very specific one. I don't think I've ever pulled it off as like a
I never seen somebody
certified.
get 6 trust in 1 turn.
It is possible. I've pulled off the 5 trust.
All right. Good to know.
But it is possible
Alright.
to get 6.
Good to know.
I really like Mother Gothel. She's my number 1. When the Discord server we're in did the the villain melee where each person had like 1 character that they were assigned to, and there was only like 1 for each character. I had ended up getting Mother Gothel. I think I've won the first match like in the bracket, and I made like maybe 1 in the losers. But I'm not certain. I can't remember. That was probably over a year ago. But you might be able to find that video on Waro's YouTube channel. I don't know if he still has those up, or if that was even one of them, where we did the qualifier to see who would get to do Mother Gothel. But yeah, I really like Mother Gothel because she's got a lot of positioning that she has to keep in mind. She's got lots of combos she can do, like I was talking about with the 5 or 6 trust combos. You can do a lot. You have to be thinking ahead, like at least 2 or 3 turns, like at all times, to know what you're going to be doing to be successful with her. Like once you've got like a rhythm for it, you're going to really get into knowing what you're going to want to do on any given turn. So I think it's a really cool thing that she's got going on, and I really get and like understand how to play her. So that's why I like her a lot.
Yeah, like Gothel can first off, Gothel, she is definitely a top tier character, I must say. She's definitely she's not my favorite to play, but I don't mind her being in other games, because sometimes I have done close wins with other, villains instead of Gothel. But I definitely do need to play her more, because the first ever what I ever learned Gothel was I've been practicing with her off screen a lot, and I'd say trying to mention this YouTuber, but Cast in the Sky 13, he loves Gothel a lot in the Disney Villainous game, and she's definitely one of the great combo characters out there, moving Rapunzel with the guards and just playing the stabby tins, playing Revenge, just getting tons of trust from anybody you can think of. Definitely the most bait effective for her is Pascal, and Everyone's Got a Dream as well, and plus maybe Flynn Rider as well. Who knows? In the different situation, you get the whole gist of it. But definitely, fake coverage is probably the tower and the definitely the Corona as well. I think those are best 2 fair locations. Maybe I might be wrong on that, but she's definitely very fun. I need to play her more to get to know her better. But I know she's a very top character as well. She's very, very good. And
Yeah,
the only worst card is now I'm the bad guy. That's it.
Not even
You're-
that bad, you know? Because like if you're
True,
going
but
to
you can't.
if
You
you're
can't use
if
it when you have
got
zero
some
trust.
Rapunzel- like yeah, but if you don't have any trust to lose, then why do you need to move Rapunzel back anyway? You know, because like all she's gonna do is just get back down there again. But if you're going to lose the trust anyway, like if you have no other way to move it down, then like why not just go ahead and play it anyway? Because you're gonna lose the trust item. You might as well move her back while you're doing it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
definitely
only
I guess you can only
like,
do it once. I guess just to keep it. I guess.
like it's definitely not a card you want to play every time.
No.
But if you don't have anything else you can use, then it's just as good as doing nothing. Better than doing nothing.
I viewed
Yeah, I
it as a
definitely
card.
understand.
I viewed it as a card to only use if you're in a pinch and there's no other way to move Rapunzel back. Like if you're absolutely
Yeah.
dire and,
Oh, yeah.
and she's
That
there and you
makes
have no
sense.
other way to move her back, then you got to use it. And also, it's getting a card out of your hand too. But
That's true.
all right, so my perspective on her, like I said before, like was starting out this whole podcast, like it depends on what everybody values and why you love this character. Like that's where you rank them. I think in this Discord, a lot of us really appreciate combo heavy characters who can do like really cool things. And Mother Gospel is for sure one of them. I'm not the biggest fan of her, unfortunately. Now there's my fiance. We absolutely love Tangled. We love the movies. But just not her playstyle is not our cup of tea, and that's okay. I really appreciate watching Mother Gothel players and watching them being satisfied with their combos and seeing what they can do. It's how I'm learning how to play her as well. I have her at number 14. The first time I played her, I had an intense, really satisfying game. I feel like a criminal mastermind pulling all these combos for the first time playing with her, and I'm like, how is this working? Because I was so scared to play her. But you know what? Sometimes when I play Villainous, I like to be a little bit brain dead and just turn my brain off a little bit. And like Baby Daisy was saying, you cannot do that with this character. You need to be thinking turns ahead. I think the brown of her whole design is very beautiful. I love her card art. I think it's one of the I've been saying this about a lot of villains, but I think her card art is really good with the different expressions of the characters and such. I think her mover is really great. I'm definitely very careful with it because I feel like with a little stringy thing on top can break easily. So I handle that with care. But yeah, she seems great to play. Last time I played her, I got swarmed with heroes at the tower, and it was kind of difficult to do anything. No, the tower. Yeah, the leftmost location. But yeah, it was
Yes,
a lot
the
of
tower,
fun.
yep.
It is fun playing with her, but I want to definitely learn how to play her better because I feel like I still have a ways to go. There's other villains I definitely like better, but I appreciate that everyone else likes her as much.
Yeah, I definitely do appreciate her a lot.
Yeah, something that you mentioned wonderful about the art being very good. It's also super interesting that she's the first 3D character depicted in Villainous. So it was super interesting to see her card art because for the other characters you can just take the original movie, which normally only has either flat colors or minimal shading, and just make it so much prettier with the art, with the painting style of the game. And with Gothel, I find it interesting that even though it was 3 models, they still went with the painting style, and I think it looks very nice. Definitely better than Syndrome's card.
Yeah.
I think her
I do.
I think her board in general is one of the most beautiful as well. Like just in general, looking at all locations, really pretty.
Yeah, I do appreciate her board state. It's very, very good. Having just like 2 locations, which is 4 actions, and the other just having like just 1 at the top and just 3 at the bottom. It's very, very cool, I would say.
Yeah, something that I didn't think about until just now is that her first location, the tower, is normally would be bad for others because it doesn't have any game power action. So normally the ROMs always have at least a game 1 power action, and the one that doesn't is not as useful. But with Gothel, I love that the way she's designed, with her being able to progress by vanquishing and moving and stuff. it doesn't really matter. And even though it doesn't have a game power action at the location, it's still one of her best locations in the whole game. But for the combo potential and also the fate, the move, it's a
Vanquish is the
great
best way to bring
location.
back Rapunzel.
I think I learned this from last time I was on this podcast for part 1, but her board is the same thing as Scar's. Her and Scar have the same board layout, minus the one action on the top of the 2 middle locations, but they have the same actions at every location.
Yeah, they're just in a different order.
Yeah.
The forest is Pride Rock. Corona is the Savannah. Elephant Graveyard is Snuggly Duckling, and the Gorge is the Tower.
Cool.
Okay, I had not noticed that. That's a fun fact.
Yeah, they're just Scar just rearranges them because he doesn't have the bottom 3, top 1 sort of layout.
He doesn't have a Rapunzel.
Yeah. One thing that I'll say real quick is I always think it's funny when sometimes I'm playing with newer people, like my friends or family and stuff, and I'll eventually bring out Gothel and just completely wipe the floor with them, and then they'll be like, I want to try Mother Gothel, she's clearly such a good character, and then they
Oh my god.
fall apart. But
You make it look so easy.
My friends will always think that Mother Gothel's like one of the best in the game, and then in the competitive scene she's like bottom 3 or 4.
Yeah. Do we feel like her fate deck is kind of strong, or is it like balanced? What do you guys feel like about her fate deck?
I would say it's balanced.
Yeah, I was gonna say none of it really hits all that hard. Like you might Flynn can be all right in certain circumstances, but he's kind of just like a trust library card, as some people have described it. Because you're gonna get that 2 trust back eventually, assuming you defeat him, which you're probably going to. Because revenge means that you can get an extra trust off of him being played. The other heroes, the Queen and King can be annoying because you don't have much of an incentive to defeat them. I would, depending on where they land on the board, I would say they could end up being really nasty. But it depends a lot on which location they go to and like how things are going. To really say, like, if you're playing against Mother Goth, like, always put them at whatever, because it's gonna change. But I'm trying to think. There's not a whole lot that's other things. Floating lights can really wreck you at the wrong time, but that's also like just as likely to do nothing to hurt Gothel.
I feel like Mother Gothel stops doing the same thing that other villains do, like Hades and Maleficent, where when the brush is out, you want to find aging as fast as possible and get rid of that shit.
Aging, it depends. Late game, you probably... Well, I don't know. Usually the brush is the best target for aging, but it's not always going to be because sometimes the allies are better to get rid of because if you can't vanquish Rapunzel, then that can set her back a few turns. Like if she was planning on vanquishing, doesn't have like a let down your hair, now I'm the bad guy, or egomania or something like that to move her back again. Like discarding an ally can hurt her a lot more than discarding the brush was going to, but a lot of times the brush is good. For Fate deck, the only other card I feel like was worth mentioning for being kind of rough, well, Pascal is a huge pain. It's particularly when he's at the tower. That one's gonna be like an almost always messes you up because it bumps her up. Like instead of having like 3 turns to get back to like the tower after you vanquish, or Corona after you vanquish her, it's only gonna be 2 turns, which means you're gonna have to change a lot on how you're playing, and you're not gonna be able to do or get trust off of something like I love you most or let down your hair after a vanquish. So that, and also the tower in general just loses you a move. The other one I was thinking of saying before that was the Frying Pan. Frying Pan's probably the weakest card in the deck, but my advice is just put it on anyone who isn't Rapunzel, and you'll get a lot more mileage out of it. Because anybody else has like that even Well, I mean, Rapunzel, you're probably going to use a Stabbington on, is why it's not best on Rapunzel. But with anybody else, like especially those 2-strength heroes like Pascal, Shorty, Hook Hand, etc. Well, I know there's another one. I can't remember. Anyway, like if you put it on those, then a Royal Guard by himself isn't going to be able to take them out anymore, and that can make a huge difference in being able to use revenge. And also, like with Flynn can be a good one to have the frying pan, because you're going to have to use either 3 guards or a guard and a Royal Rider. But you only have 2 Royal Riders compared to 5 guards. And a Queen and King getting the pan means they're probably never going away. So, you just have to be careful with how you use the frying pan. If you use it in creative ways, then it's going to be a lot better than just sticking it on Rapunzel every time and then being like, it didn't do anything. I was like, yeah, because you put it on the hero that was obviously going to be vanquished by the 5-strength ally. But I don't know. That's just my thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, putting the brush on Rapunzel is sometimes good because of characters like Pete and Cruella that get that have conditions triggered by moving items.
Yeah.
And practically, whenever Mother Gothel moves Rapunzel in her turn, not at the end of it, in her turn, for example, by moving in a guard and using it to move Rapunzel, then you can just play those conditions. Because
this box, like I was saying, this box is so good playing against each other with like heroes from the same box, just because their conditions all activate each other, like based on what they do. It's really it's nice.
Yeah.
I'm still hoping one day that I'll be able to get off the play where Rapunzel's got the pan and they play Floating Lights, and you use Egomania immediately after to pull her right back to the tower.
Oh yeah,
I've never seen that one, but I really hope I can someday.
Wait, that can happen?
Yeah, because if you're playing against like Cruella and they play Floating Lights, it's the same reason why Cruella can play Cruel off of Captain. Cruella's the one moving Rapunzel, which means that the item is going with her, which means that she's moving the item. So you can play Egomania off of that.
Wait, if she's playing against who?
Like, I'm just using Cruella as an example, but if Cruella fates Mother Gothel and plays the Floating Lights to move Rapunzel while she's got the frying pan, Cruella's the one that's moving Rapunzel, and the frying pan goes with her, which means that Cruella moved.
I thought your opponent has to move the item.
Yeah, Cruella's moving Rapunzel.
Babydaisylover means that any character that moves Rapunzel all the way over to Corona, while Rapunzel has the frying pan attached.
Oh, you know what? I think
makes Mother Gothel able to play Egomania.
Yeah, I think when you fade someone, your opponent, the person who's being faded, has to do that. So your opponent has to move Rapunzel to Corona, which then triggers the condition.
That's what I'm saying. Like Cruella plays Mother Gothel, she plays Floating Lights, and she moves Rapunzel. The pan moves with her, which means Cruella moved the frying pan, which is an item, and you can play Egomania off of that.
That's so crazy. Despite playing this game for a while and like really getting invested in this game, you still like learn new stuff that can have it happen. That's crazy.
You can have it happen with Horus or Pluto moving one of the items or allies, or Horus's case. He can immediately play Cruel on them. And Cruella Outrage. Cruel is Cruella's condition. She can play that off of Captain moving one of the allies.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the few conditions, like those move item ally ones are one of the few conditions that can be triggered off of an opponent fading you, that aren't the specific targeted with the fade action conditions. Can't think of any others. So.
Well, I know deception can be like 2 like items, of course, which is it can be fate items as well.
Deception might be the one.
Yeah, we talked about this last time too, but like it's insane that you can, with Hades, you can pull manipulation, get deception back, and then trigger it.
Jafar, you meant?
Yeah, with Jafar, yeah.
another one I thought of that you can play off of an opponent fading you on is Horned King's only moments away from victory. If they had a sword on you.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other examples that we haven't mentioned already, though.
Yeah.
No,
I really enjoyed
no.
this. I really enjoyed this talk though in this podcast, and it was really great to be a part of it and discuss Villainous with you guys.
Yeah.
Are we wanting to close out here?
Okay,
I
any
could,
other
well-
thoughts on Model of Death?
No, but like I don't have any thoughts on Gothel, but I got to say it's kind of nice to like join the next part of the podcast here, MetaCross. But it was a very very a good time, you know. Like so, I couldn't join the first one because I didn't know what was going on, you know. Like that's okay though. It was nice talking to you on the podcast for the first and the next time, you know. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
And I'm so excited for what. Yeah, and I'm very excited for what Oki's gonna do when he comes, and he's definitely gonna be like one of my high characters probably because I'm gonna love how Oki is gonna be probably. We'll see what happens when he's gonna be on Halloween. So and when he comes to the mod as well, because I'm very intrigued what he's gonna do.
You're joking! I can't believe
I can hear that from here. Yeah.
I'm very excited for Oogie Boogie. Real quick before we close out, since I won't get into the details, but in case anybody's curious, since I was not able to be here while we were talking about Maleficent, I put Maleficent at 19 personally, just in case anyone's curious.
Oh,
That's crazy. I don't mind her though, but like, good to know.
Yeah, so
I was in a discussion on all the rest of them, just not her.
but yeah, I don't think anyone else has anything
Not
else to say about
18.
Mother Couple.
okay,
18,
just
yes.
so to close off this podcast, let's talk about our favorite quotes for each villain. For the
Mother
villains.
Gothel.
Mother Gothel?
Gothel's got my favorite. Although I will say that while we were speculating on, what's it called? Despicable Plots, that box, the Gaston and Tremaine and Horned King box. I'm pretty sure I was like one of the only people on the server that correctly predicted what Gaston's quote will be. And don't I deserve the best? So I was excited to see that was actually his quote after that was like when we were all making our predictions, that was what I had predicted his quote would be. So
My favorite quote is.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you're-
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you.
quote for the
Oh.
listeners. I think that'd be a good
Okay, that's rude.
Uh,
Okay, that was weird. Okay, that was weird. Sorry. My favorite quote probably is definitely the Horned Canes. I was very surprised with the Horned Cane like appearing because I never knew what villain that was from the Black Cauldron, which I never do. He's definitely one of the fewest surprises I had. Like, arise, my messengers of death, our hour has arrived. Love it. Love the quote.
Oh, by the way, what's the quote for Honky?
It's
he just
arise,
said it.
my messengers of death, our hour has arrived. Our time has arrived, I should say.
Yeah, the our hour has arrived is the name of the card, and it's not actually.
Arise, my messengers of death,
reference
our time has
or-
arrived. That's what he said.
It doesn't actually reference the quote, which is kind of funny because they did put the quote correctly on the back of his board, but for that card, they
Oh, yeah.
messed it up.
Yeah.
I really enjoy Ursula's because you can just
Interesting.
it's a classic, but you can just hear from the movie, the sea and all its spoils bow to my power, and also
Yeah, in the
Maleficent-
original movie, yeah.
yeah, and Maleficent now go with the curse and serve me well. I'm trying to think of what other ones I really love. Gaston's, yeah, and don't I deserve the best? It just really describes him so well.
I always wish that Maleficent's quote was like the one. I think it's like, "You really thought that you could defeat me, the mistress of all evil?"
You're so right.
I always wish that quote.
I wish Captain Hooks was better. Double the powder and shorten the fuse. I feel like it's kind of lame.
He said that in the movie, yeah. Yeah, he said that in, like, when they were getting ready to attack Peter Pan, the children, in the movie.
Yeah.
My other favorites are Syndrome and Lotso. I love those two. I definitely wish Hades could have a
Which
better...
one is my favorite? And that's Syndrome's quote, which is...
Yeah, me too.
Well, you can count on anyone, especially on your heroes. Just a classic.
I love that one. I love that quote. Yeah.
I love Cruella de Vil's. We'll get even. Just wait. You'll be sorry.
There's so many good ones.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Radicals is so
I'm trying to think if I have any other
Radigan.
honorable.
so
Scar.
Yeah.
Scars is great.
Charles says along of the cane,
Yeah,
but it makes sense, you know.
it's just too iconic, not to give an honorable mention to.
Yeah.
No.
I'm
So
blanking
it's,
on a few of the characters' quotes.
Yeah, I love the villain quotes. They
I
are
definitely
nice addition
agree
to the
that
game.
Hades needs a better quote. I would say.
Hades. Which one was Hades?
Which one is Hades? I can't.
Everyone's got a
Everyone's
weakness.
everyone's got a weakness.
That's what I thought it was.
I
Okay.
like it. I like it. So
Definitely would agree that
um,
Hades needs a better quote. I would say.
I like Pete's.
Yeah,
I'll knock you right into next week.
That's a good one. Yeah. That's a
He
good one.
didn't
Yeah.
have a lot of
Kind
choices.
of a fourth-wall reference.
What? Sorry.
No, hey, no. No, it's not a fourth-wall break, right?
I'll knock you into next week is Pete's quote.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
next week. Yeah.
One of the
So-
only ones he actually has lines in.
What do you guys think of Lady Tremaine's above all self-control?
It's very fitting for
Then
her, I
they
believe.
could have taken one from Cinderella 3 where no one will outshine my daughters. But
Alright.
it's from one of the sequels, so I understand why they didn't
Yeah.
pick it. From the original movie, there wasn't a whole lot better for them to pick from, unless they wanted to trim down the "I never go back on my word" quote. Because it's kind of when I made my own version of Lady Tremaine before she came out, I picked that one, and like the whole quote is like, it's like, after all, we did make a bargain, didn't we, Cinderella? And I never go back on my word. That's like the whole thing, which is kind of long for a Disney Villainous back quote. Marvel and Star Wars get longer ones, but they've always tried to stick for Disney. I think that was probably just a Prospero decision that they kept up. But
I do like Queen of Hearts too. If I lose my temper, you lose your head.
That's a pretty good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Facilities as well. I got friends on the other side. Like Facilities called. Even though I don't
Yeah.
play them, you know.
yeah,
Yeah, so many great quotes, to be honest.
Oogie Boogie.
Oogie Boogie, I have no idea what he would say.
I think it'll be something like one of the. I think it's the line from the song. It's like, "I'm Mr. Oogie Boogie and I'm the Oogie Boogie Man." I think that's one of the lines from the song. That's kind of what I
There's-
was
there's
thinking.
so
I'm
many
Mr.
lines.
Oogie Boogie and you ain't going nowhere. That's what he said.
I was thinking from the song. Maybe I haven't seen
Yeah, that's
the
what
movie
he
in a
said.
There's so many iconic quotes. It's really hard for them to get this wrong.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
I also
No.
wish Hades had a better quote. I also like Jafar's "Finally You About Me."
Yeah, he said that in the battle in the final act, in the third act. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not in the final battle when he took over. Yeah, the movie in Aladdin. Yeah.
I feel like
Like
Aethys
it.
is I think Aethys is kind of lame. Our moment of triumph approaches.
Yeah, I remember thinking that hers wasn't very good, and then I rewatched the movie and I was like, yeah, I guess if you're picking like some one individual thing for the backboard quote, she doesn't have all that much better options for like a one-liner like that. But
Wrong
Yeah.
lever!
Wrong lever!
Oh, I also had Mother Gothel ranked at number
which one?
2.
Number 2.
Fine, Hades.
Oh wow.
Oh, that was Gospel. Yeah, nice.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's
All right. Well, if that's all we've got,
yeah.
then I guess that's
I had
it.
so much fun discussing about the best
I'm glad
villains
we got-
in competitive settings and also the best characters to play for fun. Thank you all for joining us,
No problem.
and thank you to the casters here for also telling us their talks and discussing all of these characters.
Yeah.
So
well,
hopefully Ravensburger will one day watch this podcast and try to see
be crazy if we could get that.
Which design philosophy works better for the characters for fun?
Yeah, it was very nice to join you for the first time on the podcast, MetaCross. It was very even though I couldn't join the first one, it was very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, very fun. Yeah, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on another topic.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
So long.